I am being indicted for you.
Over the weekend, former President Donald Trump rallied supporters in New Jersey as the coming testimony of his former fixer and now critic becomes the focus of his criminal trial.
I'm kind of looking forward to it because, again, can't be finished with something unless you start it.
Michael Cohen is at the center of the prosecution's case, having handled the payment of $130,000 to adult film actress Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet about an alleged sexual encounter with Trump back in 2006, which he denies.
And today, Trump's former fix-it lawyer, Michael Cohen, testified in the criminal hush money case in which former President Donald Trump has been charged with allegedly falsifying documents in order to cover up that crime. Now, this is a big deal because there's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not Michael Cohen's testimony would be helpful. Unfortunately, we don't have cameras inside the courtroom, so I can't judge his testimony based on what I hear and see with my own eyes and ears. I have to go based on the reporting from those who were in the courtroom. Based on what they're saying, his testimony was in fact damning and could be incredibly helpful for the prosecution. Now, of course, the testimony by Michael Cohen has been highly anticipated, with Cohen serving as the prosecution's star witness. Back in 2018, he did in fact plead guilty to making a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels under Trump's direction. That is what he alleged, for the principal purpose of influencing the 2016 presidential election, which of course is a violation of federal campaign finance laws. New York prosecutors alleged that Trump illegally disguised reimbursements related to the Daniels hush money payment as a monthly retainer for legal services, leading to 34 false entries in New York business records. New York law states that falsifying business records rises to a felony when an individual's intent to defraud includes an intent to commit another crime or to aid or conceal the commission thereof. Now, during Michael Cohen's testimony today, he made it clear that he absolutely idolized Trump when he did serve as his fix-it attorney and was proud at the time to be working with him so closely. Cohen did everything from talking with the media to renegotiating bills on Trump's behalf, including outstanding invoices from 50 vendors of Trump's failed Trump University project. By the way, Trump was sued for that and he had to pay a pretty big settlement, tens of millions of dollars. The praise he got from Trump afterward made Michael Cohen feel like he was on top of the world, he told jurors. Quote, "The only thing that was on my mind was to accomplish the task and make him happy," end quote, Cohen said, referring to Trump. So he also, according to his testimony, said that he lied and bullied on Trump's behalf. This is super relevant. He said part of his job included reaching out to reporters whose stories upset Trump, asking them to make changes or take them down, and sometimes threatening legal action. Asked if he had done so in a strong and threatening manner, Cohen said he did. So a lot of damning confessions that made Michael Cohen himself look pretty bad during the time that he was serving as Trump's fix-it lawyer. He also portrayed Trump, and this is really important in the testimony considering what Trump has been charged with. Cohen alleged or portrayed Donald Trump as very much hands-on, like a hands-on boss who wanted updates about everything. So this is relevant to the case because, of course, Trump has denied knowing about the hush money payments, even though he's been on national television admitting that he knew about the hush money payments. We've shown you that video. Nonetheless, Cohen repeatedly also told the jury that he was in the know about everything going on, meaning Trump was in the know about everything going on, and was in fact ordering Michael Cohen to make the payments. Now, during Cohen's testimony, he walked the jury through an audio recording dating back to 2016 that reveals that Trump knew about a separate $150,000 hush money payment. Well, it wasn't really a hush money payment, but it was a $150,000 payment to kill a story about his alleged 2006 affair with a Playboy model named Karen McDougal. In it, you can hear Cohen telling Trump about his plan to set up a company and finance the purchase of the rights from American media, which publishes the National Enquirer. Let's take a look.
I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with
So what are we gonna pay?
Funding. Yes. And it's all the stuff, because you never know where that company, you never know where he's going to be. Correct. So I'm all over that. And I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be.
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So no. I got no.
Guys, I mean, look, I don't know how many people watching this are full-blown Trump supporters who think he did nothing wrong, but like, his signature is on the checks, the reimbursement checks that he gave to Michael Cohen. You just heard the audio recording in which Donald Trump is discussing, the money paid to kill the Karen McDougal story. I mean, like, there is evidence of wrongdoing. It's pretty damning. And as I said earlier, Trump himself talked about knowing about the hush money payments while appearing on cable news.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth, as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
And look, I do think, I was worried about the Cohen testimony, I gotta be honest, because there is a downside, a potential vulnerability to Michael Cohen's testimony. And what I mean by that is, Cohen very clearly despises Donald Trump and is holding a grudge against him. And to be sure, I personally would hold a grudge against Donald Trump if I ended up serving time behind bars, as Michael Cohen did for the hush money payments, and Trump has been able to basically skirt any and all responsibility or consequences for it. But that personal grudge might, taint the jury's view of Michael Cohen and maybe might lead to them distrusting him a little bit. But what I will say is that Cohen speaking to the evidence that would help prove that Trump had falsified documents is helpful. It's very different from the testimony we got from Stormy Daniels last week that was really irrelevant to the charges that Donald Trump is facing, but the prosecution was able to bring her on the witness stand and ask her questions because of the fact that Donald Trump is denied ever even having a sexual relationship with Stormy Daniels. That allowed for the opportunity for the prosecution to ask Stormy Daniels all sorts of questions about their sexual affair. And by doing that, I think that it actually could potentially hurt the prosecution because it could give this, this air of, oh, this case is really just a hatchet job against Donald Trump. Here's this woman, sharing every tiny, minor, embarrassing detail about what it was like to have sex with Donald Trump. How is this relevant to the charges he's facing? But maybe that doesn't matter as much if you have better testimony from others within the Trump organization who are more familiar with how things are managed within the organization. Michael Cohen's testimony about how in the know Trump was about the wheeling and dealing going on when it came to killing the stories and the hush money payments. So I do think that potentially, based on how this has been reported, today's testimony could be helpful for the prosecution. There's other stuff that was talked about in court today having to do with Trump's relationship with Melania that kind of grossed me out, I'm not gonna lie, and made me feel terrible for Melania, considering what was said about her and how Trump feels about their marriage. Remember, this is based on Michael Cohen's testimony, so some might take it with a grain of salt. I think that there might be some truth behind it. So let's get to the details of what he said. Now, Melania wasn't in the courtroom, and that's a good thing, especially today, because apparently Donald Trump, based on Cohen's testimony, doesn't seem to care too much about Melania's feelings and wasn't really all that interested in killing the Karen McDougal story or paying the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels because he was worried that Melania would be mad that he cheated on her. No, he was worried about his presidential campaign. That was what he was concerned about. So Cohen said that Trump was mad at him when he was informed about the Stormy Daniels story. Cohen continued recounting from Trump, "Women are going to hate me. Guys may think it's cool, but this is going to be a disaster for the campaign." Right, so obviously he's worried about the campaign. He said to me, "This is a disaster, a total disaster," Cohen testified. He told me to work with David, meaning David Pecker, to get control over the story. And so Trump apparently said at the time, according to Michael Cohen, quote, "I want you to just push it out as long as you can just get past the election. Because if I win, it will have no relevance because I'm president. And if I lose, I don't even care. So remember, that is what Donald Trump allegedly told Michael Cohen, according to what Michael Cohen testified under oath in the hush money trial today. Cohen also said that he raised the issue of Melania to Trump while discussing the Stormy Daniels deal. He says, don't worry, Donald Trump did. How long do you think I'll be on the market for? Not long. You know, Trump's a real catch. He's not worried about losing Melania and remaining single. He wasn't thinking about Melania. This was all about the campaign, Cohen said, prompting Trump to smirk and shake his head in the courtroom. Yikes, okay, yikes. Now, the general consensus was that Michael Cohen did a good job on the stand today. Last week, again, there were some critiques in regard to Stormy Daniels, but based on what the reporting says about what happened in court today, Cohen did a good job. He is known to be emotionally volatile, but managed to stay calm during the questioning today. And it remains to be seen, however, how he'll hold up during cross-examination, because that hasn't happened yet. So the defense attorneys have not been able to ask him questions. The prosecution brought him to the stand as their star witness and asked the questions today. And they will try, by the way, the defense will try to erode Cohen's credibility, which, look, of course they're gonna try to do that. That is what their job is, right? So I'm not at all surprised that they're gonna try to destroy his credibility. But to do so, Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, is expected to go through a presentation that includes the following: clips from Cohen's podcast. See, this is what I'm talking about when I say Cohen's testimony could help or it could hurt if the jurors view him as someone who's just going after Trump over a personal grudge. But that's what the defense wants to lean into. They're gonna play clips from Cohen's podcast, excerpts from his book, and his many interviews over the past 6 years where he has attacked Donald Trump. And unsurprisingly, Republican lawmakers are having all sorts of meltdowns over Cohen's testimony and the trial overall. Just one example that I want to play for you all. Here's Senator Tommy Tuberville, who attended the trial today.
Here's what I'm seeing too. It is depressing. That courtroom is depressing. This is New York City, the icon of our country. And we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the President of the United States this year.
It was depressing for who? Depressing for the Republican Party, maybe, but calling the trial depressing is kind of hilarious. But he also mentioned being bitter that Trump was being referred to in the courtroom as Mr. Trump rather than former President Donald Trump. I remember when Republicans were dunking on Dr. Jill Biden for wanting to be called Dr. Jill Biden. Look, I have to be honest with you, I hate all of it. I want to call her First Lady Biden. Like, doctor is like, really, you're gonna get on people's cases about that. So it didn't really bother me that people were dunking on her for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and dunk on Tommy Tuberville for getting his feelings hurt that during the court proceedings, they don't refer to him as former President Donald Trump over and over again. Come on. I think we've got bigger fish to fry, all right? The title obsession, the credential obsession, not really something I'm concerned about. But anyway, that's what happened in court today. We'll see how it plays out probably tomorrow when cross-examination happens. And we'll see whether the defense can effectively demolish Michael Cohen's credibility, especially since he really is a star witness in knowing the details about the charges that Trump is facing, falsifying documents. If anyone can speak to that, it would be Michael Cohen, considering he was so intertwined in that entire process of killing stories that made Trump look bad or paying the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.